Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff today. I'm reviewing the song If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next by Manic Street Preachers. As usual, this song comes to you as a request from one of, actually in this case, many of my viewers. So as always, if you want to get your song reviewed, just do what they did. Leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to add it to my list. So a few weeks ago, if you remember, if you are a long-time listener of the channel, watcher of the channel, you know that I reviewed Manic Street Preachers' song Motorcycle Emptiness, which I absolutely loved. The guitar work was superb in that song, if I'm being honest, and it has already kind of become a mainstay in my regular listening rotation. So yeah, fantastic song. And it wasn't by any means the first song that I had heard from Manic Street Preachers. I also have songs like Faster. I have a couple songs from Archives of Pain, I think is the name of the album, but Faster is the one that sticks out because it's the one I listen to probably most from that album so far. But yeah, I mean, fantastic work from them. I feel like every song I hear from them makes me go like, wow, this is a really good band. And this is not a band that I had ever heard of until I started this channel and you guys started recommending them. So kudos to you. But yeah, a lot of people came in the comments of Motorcycle Emptiness of that video and said like, hey, this got to be your next one. You know, if you liked that, you got to check this one out. Oops, sorry. So that's what we're doing. So let's jump right in. If you tolerate this, your children will be next. Again, Manic Street Preachers, here we go.
Teaches you to be alone, the present to be afraid and cold. So if I can't shoot rabbits, then I can't shoot fascists. Bullets fire brain today, but we'll forget it all again. Monuments put front pen to paper turns me
that was a great song, man. You know, I feel like it's been a little while since I've said this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Manic Street Preachers maybe one of my they're becoming one of my favorite bands that you guys have shown me. Like and again, I don't say that often because like I hear a lot of music on this channel and I do really enjoy a lot of it. Like I feel like I come away from this with very few negative reviews. Like you'll be hard pressed to find a negative review on my channel because I mean I do like a lot of different genres of music. I do like a lot of what you guys recommend, an overwhelming amount. But like there are always a few bands that kind of rise to the top for me that you all have recommended. Like King Gizzard was one of those where like I had never heard of them until you guys started recommending them. They're one of my favorites. Arctic Monkeys, again, never I had heard of them, never listened to them before. You guys recommended one of my favorites. I mean, and if I started going through my record collection right now, like a lot of those albums in there started off as songs that you all had recommended here on the channel. So, Built to Spill, another one of those that just popped into my mind. So you guys truly have introduced me to like some of my favorite artists of the last like 10 or so years, however long I've been doing this channel. It hasn't been 10 years, but we'll say 10 or so years, right? And I feel like from just the few songs, probably 5 or 6 at this point, right, that I've heard from Manic Street Preachers all here on the channel. Go check out those videos if you haven't already. But like just from that small sample size, like man, I really like their music, right? Like I feel like there's been very little from them that I've gone like, yeah, that didn't really hit for me. Like every single thing I've just been like, yes, this is great. So yeah, and this was no exception. Like this song was fantastic. So let's break it down piece by piece like we always do, of course, starting with the lyrics. Now, I do want to read this because there's an about section here, which I'm always kind of interested to see what they say. It says, this is about the Spanish Civil War and the idealism of people from around the world who volunteered to be part of the International Brigade fighting Franco's fascist army. The track became the band's first UK #1 single, making it their joint highest charting single alongside The Masses Against the Classes. Okay, actually, what did Manic Street Preachers say about If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next? As reported on MTV.com on July 10th, 1998, bassist Nicky Wire told Britain's New Musical Express that he wrote the song about the Spanish Civil War. Okay, so yeah, and that it pays homage to the Clash's Spanish bombs. Wire says on the band's official website that it's also about standing up to evil, a common Manic Street Preachers theme. Nice. Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt. Like I didn't really know it was about the Spanish Civil War going in, but it kind of makes a lot of sense. But again, I feel like you could extrapolate and say like we can apply this to so much more. So let's look at those lyrics. Let's talk about it. And I guess fair warning, I'm probably going to get political here because I already have some thoughts on these lyrics and how they apply to the world that we currently live in today here in 2026 when this video is being recorded. And you know, if you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok or anywhere else, like I'm not shy about sharing my political beliefs there. So I guess proceed at your own risk if you don't want to hear it. So anyway, here we go. The future teaches you to be alone, the present to be afraid and cold. So if I can shoot rabbits, then I can shoot fascists. That line was incredible. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was literally like, yo, what the hell? This is a famous quote from a volunteer for the anti-fascist fighters in the Spanish Civil War. The quote first surfaced in Miners Against Fascism by Hywell Francis. The statement is made by a working-class Welsh miner volunteering to fight Spanish fascists. It's a charge that he needs nothing to fight he doesn't already have. He can already shoot rabbits, so he's got what it takes to kill fascists too. And it is almost like dehumanizing the enemy, right? Which I feel like I'm against on principle, but at the same time, it's like, damn, if these people are also willing to torture and kill and do all those things, and like you have to, I think, be willing to fight back, you know. So it's kind of it's a hard position to be in. But bullets for your brain today, but we'll forget it all again. Monuments put from pen to paper turns me into a gutless wonder. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Gravity keeps my head down, or is it maybe shame at being so young and being so vain? Holes in your head today, but I'm a pacifist. I've walked La Ramblas, but not with real intent. Interesting. I want to click on that, see what it says. La Rambla or La Ramblas is one of the main streets in Barcelona. Uh, in homage to Catalonia, his account of fighting for the Spanish Civil War, George Orwell remarks of how factions fighting Franco turned on each other in Barcelona, accusing their allies of being fascist fronts. This undermined their effectiveness at fighting their mutual enemy. The narrator can walk the physical same path as his forebears, but he can't do it metaphorically or idealistically like what they once did. That's an interesting take on that. I honestly had no idea what I made of it, but what I'm kind of reading from here is that like again, so if you take that and you take this part where he says being so young and vain, I think sometimes it often feels like we can and maybe even should be doing more to fight things like fascism, but it feels like, you know, when you're young and again vain, so to speak, like your youth, your childhood, if you will, or just having a good time is like more important, and you can't you may support the cause, you may like ideologically support the cause, but it's hard to really kind of put yourself out there and take action, I think, a lot of times as a normal person, you know. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And on the street tonight, an old man plays with newspaper cuttings of his glory days. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And it goes on like that. Yeah, so I mean, again, very clearly they have their own intent for writing this song, but I think you can really apply this to, I mean, just so many movements, right? I mean, that line alone, the chorus alone, if you tolerate this, your children will be next. This slogan was taken from a Republican recruiting poster from the time encouraging British people to help fight Franco lest fascism take hold of the continent. Okay. The poster was prophetic. The people of the UK tolerated the rise of Spanish fascism, and their children suffered the blitz from Spain's ally, Nazi Germany. And essentially, I think that's kind of what I was going to get at, right? Is that like the children are always kind of the barometer for justice, right? Like the moment you hurt children, you're kind of the bad guy, right? If we want to paint black and white, it's almost never black and white, right? But if you want to paint black and white, the moment you start hurting children, you become the bad guy, right? And so, again, gonna get political, gonna share my beliefs, but if you look at something like ICE, where they're separating like a 5-year-old from their family, shipping him off to Texas where he doesn't live, and like traumatizing, pulling apart families. Like if we allow this to happen to our children, those are our children, right? I don't care if they came from another country; those are children. When we allow that to happen, we're opening the door for it to happen to us as well. I mean, it's no surprise. I'm a brown person. I'm a legal U.S. citizen. I was born here. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here. So it's like, but at the end of the day, like I am a brown guy. You know, I have a Spanish last name. And all it takes is for one, you know, ICE agent to say, hey, like you look suspicious, you look like you could be illegal. Let me go ahead and, you know, stop you. And there's no guarantee that you make it out alive. When the system is designed to attack and to be aggressive, and so you know, a lot of people who I am around, who I know, who have brown skin, are worried for their safety. And at the end of the day, not just our safety, but our neighbors' safety. Like I know plenty of immigrants here in this country who feel like the U.S. government hates them simply for, again, being from a different country, regardless of the sort of value or contributions that they make to our society. I know teachers who are immigrants. I know doctors who are immigrants. I know people who feel like, hey, I've given my life to helping children, helping people, and the U.S. government just sees me as a statistic, something to be dominated, right? And so again, I think if we look at this moment in time and see that, like, hey, if we allow these types of things to happen, regardless of who it is, then again, it's going to be our children who are next. We've opened the door to something more horrendous. So, all right, stepping off my soapbox, I think what I love about this lyrically is that it can be applied to so many different movements. Yes, it's about the Spanish Civil War. I think they made that pretty clear. And I think for a sort of analysis on that, or like a photo into that. Like, it makes sense. But I think some of the best lyrics, when you look at them or when you listen to them, when you read them as the viewer, as the consumer, you always get to make your own meaning. And I think the best lyrics are when I can walk away from it, you can walk away from it, someone else can walk away from it and say, like, this is what I got, and it may be different from someone else. And that's kind of all this rambling that I'm doing is kind of what I'm walking away from it, right? Like, regardless of what the intent of the artist was, like, I'm walking away with an interpretation with how I see that it affects me in the moment of time that I'm in. Again, you may look at it a little bit differently, and I think that's beautiful. I think when an artist is able to write lyrics that kind of resonate with different people for different reasons, that's a fantastic thing. So all that to say, lyrically, 2 big thumbs up from me. As far as instrumentation and vocals go, really like the vocal style here, kind of this like sort of pop styling in the vocals that I really enjoyed. His voice was like serene, it was sweet, it sounded so wonderful. And almost again made me think of like a pop star from like the 90s or 2000s, but in a really good way. Like, he sounds great. And I think, one thing I've talked about a lot is when I love when artists are able to create this sort of fun to listen to sound while still talking about things that are deep and important, and that matter, and that maybe even sometimes are very dark. And so I think that's what they achieved here, right? Like, vocally, instrumentally, this was a fun song to listen to. Lyrically, when you really look at it, it's like, wow, it's also about something that's really important and deep, which I really love. The bass throughout, there was a moment where I was kind of listening and I really kind of honed in on the bass, and I was like, ooh, like, that sounds nice. And then I never dropped it the rest of the song. I was like, yeah, I'm like tuned into that bass, and it sounds so good. And then the guitar work throughout, I think, was fantastic. Also got like a little guitar solo there in the middle, which was really fun. But man, these guys play their butts off. Like, I love what they do instrumentally. And I think that's another reason why they're kind of elevating to one of my favorite bands that I've heard off of this channel. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 big thumbs up for instrumentation and vocals. As far as replay value goes, I mean, I think this one absolutely hits my playlist. Can't wait to listen to it again. Had a really good time with this one. So 2 big thumbs up there as well. Overall, a fantastic song and a wonderful request. Thank you so much to all the people who told me I should definitely listen to this one next. So, excuse me. As always, if you enjoyed the music, go listen to the artists wherever you can. Go support them. It's definitely important to, listen to stuff like this. And then, of course, if you enjoyed what you saw here on the channel today, so consider supporting the channel. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things that you do on YouTube. I would really appreciate all those things. And hey, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.